And what do? You relax. You just let your body recover. The last time I played on Thursday night was during the Snow Angel against the Dallas Cowboys when I was in Miami. But that schedule was
It's called taunting. That would be a penalty.
Taunting
that would be a penalty.
But Don Shula gave us Friday off because we played on Thursday, Saturday off, and Sunday off. So we had the weekend to ourselves. If you wanted to go out of town, you could. But, Monday is the work week usually starts on Wednesday, but it's going to start on Monday this week. But you had it, man, your body felt so much better. I mean, a few guys went out of town, they ate Thanksgiving dinner on Friday. I was living in Miami at the time, so I'm like, I'm just going to sit back and play some golf and relax, on my 3 days off. Because you get in season 3 days off as opposed to one. Oh, it does the body great. Yes, you came back. And so it's revitalizing time. And now the next week, we're going to be ready mentally and physically because we got more time. So Urban Meyer, as a head coach, first-year head coach in the National Football League, you're 0-4. That's if you'd been 4-0, that would be bad. But you're 0-4, and you don't fly back with a team on Thursday night. We all flew back from Dallas. We didn't go our separate directions after the game. Urban didn't come back, and he stuck around in Ohio for the weekend because that viral video was released on Saturday night, not on Friday night, the day after the Jaguar played on Thursday. That was 2 days later. So that means he didn't even get back to Jacksonville till Sunday. And that's an eternity of, not that he couldn't work from home. I'm not saying that he can't, he got technology. He can do game film and study from home. But why would you? You're 0-4. You need to have your coaching staff together. Y'all need to be working. Y'all don't get 3 days off. Maybe you give your coaches, and I'm stretching it, maybe 1 day off. They played on Thursday. I don't want to see nobody in the facility on Friday, but come Saturday, I need to see you here. Or you do it, let's get together on Friday. We'll talk about what happened on Thursday night. Maybe not till Friday afternoon, but we're going to work Friday. I'm going to give you guys, let's just work Friday and Saturday where you get Sunday off and watch television from home, and we'll be back here Monday morning ready to go. That's being a lenient, practice schedule because you need to get better. You need to be ready. You're 0-4. There's no time to see the grandkids. The grandkids come see you. So Urban made a mistake there, a big mistake, but a mistake nonetheless. And he's got a lot of work in it, to overcome that. Would it help with a win today? Absolutely, but a win doesn't cover all these faults. It covers a lot of faults, but not all faults. I think that he's on the clock from the standpoint, you're 0-4. The owner has already put you on notice that you got to gain the trust of your teammates and people in his organization. I kind of heard, read between the lines. I think that means he has another 3 to 4 weeks to get it right. So if the Jaguars start off 0-7, 0-8, I wouldn't be surprised they go in a different direction because this stuff that happened last weekend will only build. And not in a good way.
My only problem with the win-loss expectations is there were no win-loss expectations for Urban coming in. This was kind of a rebuild year. Why do we do that with teams who are coming in? We know they're going to be, a top 3 pick in the draft next year, but then when they live up to those expectations of not winning, we act surprised.
That would be perfect if it wasn't all this off the field stuff. We're talking football only, and he had the viral video doesn't surface. And he's 0-7 and 0-8. Okay, we know you got a rookie quarterback. We're in a total rebuild. You're the New York Jets of 2020. We get that. Or the 2021 Jets. But even the Jets have already won this year. And, you're striving, you're working hard. I mean, when the Jaguars was 0-2, Urban came out and said, hey, man, y'all talking to the fan base. Y'all hang with us. We're going to be doing everything. We're getting better. We're going to work hard. Don't give up. Hey, you only 0-2, Herb? This is 0-2 in college. Just 0-2 in the pros. Why you come out? You don't have to come out and say that. Yeah, the fans are going to be there.
Their season's done.
Yes.
0-2 Jaguars.
No,
still got
it's a marathon, not a sprint. You hear me say it all the time. It's a marathon season in the NFL. The fans are not going nowhere. They understand everything is new. Y'all just keep doing what you're doing. That was 0-2. Now you're 0-4, And they 2 weeks ago, you said we're going to be working our butts off and everything else, but you're going to take an in-season vacation to spend time with your grandkids, and you don't even fly back with the team after losing a tough loss. You was up 14-0, and then you choose it. That's just too much, and it's not. And I love Urban. Urban person. They love Urban. Urban's a great guy, but that's still a mistake. And to what you would ask me. Is it because Urban Meyer? What if it was Bill Belichick? How big a story would that be? If it was Andy Reid, how big a story would that be? Any coach, in the National Football League, it would have Zach Taylor the same.
I just think his status, but not a lot of people know who Zach Taylor is.
They would after that viral video release. Look at the head coach of the Cincinnati Bengals out of town. He's in California.
He has good taste.
Huh?
They'd be like, he has good taste.
Okay, yeah, that too. But he's a California guy, correct?
Taylor, yeah.
Yeah, Bengals are 0-4, and he's in after a tough loss to the Los Angeles Rams. He decides to stick around on a Thursday night, and he's out there in a viral video. That's not a good look. It's a bad thing to happen for any coach in the National Football League.
It's a Sunday morning tailgate show live here from Frickers on 741 by the Dayton Mall. But yeah, that was obviously one of the bigger headlines this week.
I think it's a bigger headline as far as the coaches and off the field NFL news is John Gruden.
Yeah, my thing with that is not so much what he said. Yeah, like that's
a viral video of what somebody did is way worse. I mean, it's nowhere near in the neighborhood of what John Gruden did.
The Raiders should have just moved on already. I have no clue what they need to look into. Like that's what I'm cracking up at. And I said the same thing about so the Cleveland Guardians now. They're the Cleveland Indians their whole existence. They're saying that they got to change the name of the team because it's offensive. Well, we're going to keep it as the Indians for the rest of this season, and then we'll switch it to the Guardians after. So my thing is, well, if it's offensive now, then don't go another day with it as your team name. Why wait just so you could sell some T-shirts?
Right.
And it's a similar thing here with the Raiders. Okay, if you're going to fire him tomorrow because it was wrong, why is it more wrong on Monday that you fired him and it wasn't as wrong yesterday, today, this morning, before kickoff? That doesn't make any. That's what I'm saying is Gruden, don't fire him if he's coaching today. You better not, because you've already told the world, hey, we don't really care about what he did. We needed him to coach this game, and then we'll have a whole week to get with the new coach. That's the problem I have with it. It's just
what's upsetting me
from the Raiders' perspective, yeah.
Well, not just from the Raiders. I'm talking about the whole incident. From anybody's perspective, writer or not, what John Gruden said, writing that email, and the words was, you're insulting a man's intelligence, a black man's intelligence. You're insulting his looks. And those are all racist tropes fresh out of the civil rights, the Jim Crow era. The over-bloated lips that they, the imagery that they put out there, the dumbness of the African American. That's racist. No matter if it's 2021 or if it's 1921, it's still racist. And what John Gruden did and said, you got to own up to that. I'm not calling him a racist, but what he did is racist. And that's wrong. That's wrong. And what I find that, being African-American for 57 years and living here in America, I have seen, the statute of limitation on black pain. Because that's painful, what was said and what was written. And I just wanted to be fair, because if John Gruden had said what he said and it was an anti-Semitic remark, I think we already know how that would work. If he said what he said about the LGBTQ community,
yep,
that would already be addressed. It would come out hard. But because he said against the African American community, everybody's willing to, I'm not saying one way is fair. I'm saying it's fair is fair. And what he said was a racist thing, and it needs to be dealt with immediately, not to what you're saying. Well, let's sell some more merchandise, and we're still looking into it. No, it's already been looked at. And I said they want to put a statute of limitation on black pain. Oh, that was 10 years ago. I don't care when it was. It was said. And you're talking about another individual's look, and you're questioning his intelligence, and you don't even apologize. And even with an apology, there has to be repercussions for that. It's just like, not my best example, but let's say a woman, accidentally gets pregnant, and she goes to her parents and say, I'm pregnant. I apologize for this, that happened. You forgive me? Sure, we can forgive you. But there's going to be a repercussion of your action. Now you're going to be pregnant for the next 9 months, and you're going to have to take care of this child for the next 18 plus years. And we can, move on, but we have forgiven you for that. And what happened was 10 years ago. I'm not saying that with John Gruden, his apology is not sincere. I'm not, and it doesn't really sound sincere, but what he said, he's still trying to double him down and trying to justify what he said. He's not even really as apologetic in what he said. I was talking, you can talk about a whole lot of people's lips. Dude, come on, man. Are you that colorblind? Are you that dumb? That you don't understand, you don't read the climate of the times and where we are, where we should have been. I talk about it all the time on my show, and let's dump out systematic racism. And it starts with each and every one of us, one person at a time. So for you to talk about a man's appearance, you're talking about his lips. You're talking about his intelligence because you called him a dumb butt for radio.
Yep.
And you talked about his Michelin lips. What does that mean? I mean, what does the size of somebody's lips mean? Where's a dictionary definition of this is a normal lip and this is not this is an abnormal lip? Who gave you the right? And that's been used from time and from Jim Crow South and before that, attacks on African Americans. And for him to say that in 10 years ago, come on, John Gruden, wake up. Admit that you did something, and let's move on from there. And when we move on from that, I need the keys to this building. He doesn't, I think Randy Moss said it this morning, the clock is ticking on the Raiders organization. Something has to be done, and we know what needs to be done. He no longer needs to be the head coach for the Oakland Raiders. For the Las Vegas Raiders.
And that's my point is,
you can't be, if he said what he said was anti-Semitic or gay, it would be done.
And they shouldn't be waiting until after the game to do it.
Exactly.
Because if you let him coach today, you might as well keep letting him coach moving forward because the organization's already basically said, well.
But it's never too late to do the right thing. And to doing the right thing, he doesn't need to be coaching.
It's the Sunday Morning Tailgate Show live here from Frickers on 741 by the Dayton Mall. We'll step aside for a few moments. When we come back, the Cincinnati Bengals have a big one with the Green Bay Packers, and the Cleveland Browns have an even bigger, I shouldn't say an even bigger game. They're both equally big, but they have a huge game, of course, coming up with the Chargers later on this afternoon. So when we come back, Keith, Kevin and I talked about this on the show earlier in the week, and I'm curious your thoughts. The Browns, the Bengals, which team needs, they both have huge games this week. Which team needs a win more? Which team needs a win as far as big picture this season is concerned? We'll get to that on the other side. It's the Sunday Morning Tailgate Show live from Frickers on 741 by the Dayton Mall. We'll be back in just a moment.
First off, congratulations, Keith, as an Ohio State fan. Miami Dolphin fan doesn't get much better. Well deserved,
Thank you.
But this is a Heisman Trophy run by Keith Byars.
I want to congratulate Mr. Byars on his nod to the Hall of Fame for college football.
He's running without a shoe with a touchdown.
Keith, man, you're awesome, dude. Represent the Gym City, man. I love it.
Congratulations to Dayton's own Keith Byars, the 26th Buckeye to be selected to the College Football Hall of Fame.
Truly an honor and a blessing and a privilege, to be one of the ones that go into the Hall of Fame. And I've never been selfish to think it's all about me. No, it's about us. And the city of Dayton, Ohio, has been very, 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 good to me.
Well, Jason, I've got to tell you, you're pretty much everything this company is looking for in an entry-level candidate.
Great.
Your resume isn't quite what we're used to, but you've got a fantastic work ethic.
Thank you.
And I'm impressed by how you carry yourself.
So, should we talk about the job?
What? The job? Oh, sorry. Yeah, I have no way of recruiting or even meeting you. This interview didn't happen.
It may sound ridiculous, and that's because it kind of is. There's a huge pool of talent your company is missing out on. Meet the grads of life. Who are they? Talent worth knowing about. Young adults of unique determination and experience. An ideal fit for your company in an entry-level position, internship, or even mentorship. They might not have every qualification you typically look for, but they're exactly who your company needs.
Man, we really could have used him.
Don't miss out on a resource many innovative companies have already discovered. Go to gradsoflife.org to learn how to find, cultivate, and train this great pool of untapped talent. Brought to you by the Ad Council and gradsoflife.org.
At Napa, we keep things moving. If it has wheels and an engine, we help keep it on the road. And if it's on the road, we have parts for it. And if you need a part, you can get it fast, like same-day pickup or next-day delivery fast. At Napa, when we're not thinking about cars, we're thinking about the people who drive them. Because when it comes to serving you and our community, our motor never quits. That's Napa know-how. Same-day pickup and next-day delivery available at participating stores and on in-stock items only.
By texting 64000, you agree to receive recurring automated marketing messages from Ucora. Message and data rates may apply. No purchase required. TNC and privacy policy found at ucora.com/TNC.
I've always gotten UTIs. Cranberry products never worked for me, and I felt like I was out of options. I'm Jenna. My experience inspired me to start Ucora. Just mix a packet of Ucora with water and drink it to flush your urinary tract. Get your life back with Ucora. Get 30% off Ucora when you text HEALTH to 64000. To get 30% off, text HEALTH to 64000.
Driving has a rhythm all its own. Don't wreck it with a text. Before you get behind the wheel, silence your phone. Or better yet, designate a texter. For more text-free driving tips, visit stoptextstoprex.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council and the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration.
Save today on your next project with 11% off everything now at Menards. Save on Chamberlain garage door openers. Smart garage door openers feature built-in Wi-Fi that allow you to open and close your garage door from anywhere. Get a half-horsepower Wi-Fi belt drive opener for $129.99 after 11% rebate. Get 11% off everything now at Menards. Good through October 16th. Savings are mail-in rebate. Some exclusions apply. See store for details.
Save big money at Menards.
Hello, I'm Clerk of Court Rob Scott, serving Kettering, Centerville, Moraine, and Washington Township. From October 18th to October 29th, you can come to Kettering Municipal Court and pay off half your fines and costs, and the other half will be waived. There is nothing to fear. Come pay off half your fee.
This is brought to you by Rob Scott, Clerk of Court.
Attention men under the age of 35. You know what really impresses the ladies? When a guy has a few drinks and later gets pulled over for buzzed driving. That could cost you around $10,000 in fines, legal fees, and increased insurance rates. There goes let's grab dinner and a movie. Oh, I know. You drive more carefully when you're buzzed. You've proven that hundreds of times. A woman admires that kind of confidence. And you've practiced how to speak if a cop does pull you over. Slowly, clearly, and politely like, "Good evening, officer." A woman admires that kind of foresight. And what woman doesn't find it adorable that you call it buzzed even though the law calls it drunk? You can kiss $10,000 goodbye, along with any chance of having a girlfriend. Because nothing says, "I'm a catch," more than a guy who lives in his parents' basement and calls it my place.
Buzzed, busted, and broke. Because buzz driving is drunk driving. A message from the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
Don't miss the ESPN Dayton Glacier Softwater High School Football Game of the Week every Friday night, right here on Dayton's ESPN Radio, 1410 Wing AM. College Football Hall of Famer Keith Byars and Justin Kinner will have the call all season long. Check out wingam.com for the complete schedule and to stream the games live. Whether you're at home, at work, or in your car, tune in to ESPN 1410 Wing AM or stream us live at wingam.com.
Back, Justin Kinner, Keith Byars with you here on a Sunday morning live from Frickers on 741 by the Dayton Mall. Week 5 of the NFL season officially upon us. In fact, we had a Thursday night football, of course, between the Rams and the Seahawks. The Rams came out on top. The Seahawks lost the game, and well, maybe a little bit more because Russell Wilson is going to be out for quite some time. I've seen one report that says 4 weeks. Another report could be up to 8 weeks, 2 months out.
Fingers tough.
Feels like at this point the season for Seattle pretty much done. At this point, we'll see what happens. It's a tough division, but nonetheless, Thursday night, Week 5 kicked off, and then right now, Week 5 Sunday morning kicking off pretty early too. You have the Jets and the Falcons. The Falcons lead 27-17, about 22 seconds remaining. The Jets right now attempting a 49-yard field goal attempt. The Jets about to drop to 1-4 on the season.
Well, yeah. Didn't I take Atlanta?
You did?
No, I did not.
I was going to say, that's the team I should have picked today.
You know, I think one team is definitely in the rebuild, which being the New York Jets, and Atlanta Falcons don't know they're in the rebuild. You know, even though they're going to get the win today, you know, to improve to 2-3. I think at the end of the day, both of these teams are way under 500.
Yeah, again, the Falcons, they'll improve to 2-3 with the win. 22 seconds remaining in the contest. So big one today in Cincinnati. The Cincinnati Bengals, 3-1, sitting atop the AFC North. They'd like to remain there. And that's a very that division shaken out to be as competitive as we thought. There's 3 teams. We knew of the 4 teams, we knew 3 of them would be competitive. Well, that's the case. It's just the third team that's competitive isn't the one that many people expected to be competitive, and that's the Cincinnati Bengals. The Pittsburgh Steelers look to be the worst team in the AFC North, at least 4 weeks in. But the Cincinnati Bengals have an opportunity here to quiet a lot of the critics or the doubters. You know, it's easy for me to point out that, okay, the Cincinnati Bengals have 3 wins and 1 loss. Of their 3 wins, their 3 wins have come against opponents that all have records that equal 2-10. They haven't faced the best of competition, but to the defensive Bengals and Bengals fans in years past, they lose those games. The Bengals would lose to good teams. They would lose to bad teams. They would lose to teams all over. So it's interesting to me to see them take that step forward, getting the wins that they need to get, and that sets up this big one with Green Bay.
You know, I think, you know, things how they, you know, go in cycles. And I think that, wow, this is interesting. Wow. That's old school. Yeah, John Cook, you're the golf team. It's a Ohio State alumni. The dorm identification just came up. Hey, come on out to Frickers.
They hope that you guys bring
still has his,
everywhere you go. Okay.
How about that? I used to have my identifying ID card from college. I lost my train of thought.
So the Bengals coming up, but you know,
the things go in cycles. I remember, you know, when I just got to dog your Cowboys. You know, when I was in the NFCs, you know, it was between the Eagles, the Washington, and the Giants, and everybody else whipped up on the Cardinals and the Cowboys. But then the Cowboys made the Herschel Walker trade with the Minnesota Vikings and got healthy all, you know, over a little time, over a couple of years, and like they done got good. They've gotten good. They're better.
In a hurry.
You know, in a hurry with all those draft picks. But the Bengals, you know, they draft last year with Joe Burrow, and then, you know, get T. Higgins in the second round. And this year they get Chase, it's Jamar Chase, the wide receiver. And offensively, man, these guys are just starting to move. They got the potential to be pretty good. And they are moving the ball on everybody they have played this year. And now you like the Bengals, we said it 2 weeks ago, where the Bengals beat the Steelers, and then they come back on Thursday night and beat the Jaguars. Can you believe they could be 3-1? Their season can just turn just like that. But they lose to the Steelers and then mess around and let Jaguars beat them, they would be 1-3, and then we're saying same old Bengals. You know, that narrative continues with the Bengals. But now they won those 2 games. They're 3-1. They share the first place with right now, even after last year, the best division in National Football League. You know, along with the Ravens, you know, and the Browns. Perception changed, and then the Steelers. Who would have thought the Steelers after 4 games would be 1-3? They had maybe the Bengals being 1-3, or maybe the Browns being 1-3, but not the Steelers. But that's the beauty of I love divisional play. I love the National Football League because it is a marathon of a season. You have got to play 1 week at a time, and I just don't want the Bengals to come out today. They've had a lot of pats on the back the last 10 days, you know, being 3-1. But how did you get to 3-1? You've been working your butt off, and you've been playing hard each and every Sunday. And you got a big test today. You're at home against Green Bay. You're not on the road against Green Bay. You know, you're at home against Green Bay. Yeah, they have Aaron Rodgers, but you guys got some talent too. Just how you like, man, they got this guy, that guy, that guy. We got names, we got guys, and that's our opportunity to prove not only just to ourselves, but to the rest of the NFL, we're here. We're going to be here for a while, and this is our year. This is good. The NFL is one of the beauty things I love about the NFL. You can go from first to worst in one season, and you can go from first to worst and worst to first. You can flip-flop. You can be first place one year, last next year in your division, and the opposite happens the following year. And Hey, that's trending right now.
Yeah, again, the Cincinnati Bengals 3-1 to start, and this is the first. I mean, look, they opened up with the game against Minnesota. The record for Minnesota not great, but that's one of the best offenses in the National Football League. And of course, they went toe-to-toe with the Vikings. Punch for punch, they won 27-24. They lost to a Bears team that they probably should have won. They did pick it up late, but by that point it was too late. But since then, you talked about it, the win over the Steelers, the win against the Jaguars, and that sets up all this momentum heading into this matchup with the Packers. Now the Bengals,
but momentum only means something when you do something with it.
Yeah, and I mean they
have the opportunity to do something with it,
and capitalizing on those opportunities is important. The Bengals have done that. Of the winnable teams they faced, they took care of the Vikings. The Steelers jumped on them. The Packers, now they have a chance, and of course the Jaguars after they trailed 14-0. It could have been 21-0. I joked with Kev the other day. I said, look, well, the Bengals have to come out ready because, unlike Urban Meyer, LaFleur will kick that dang field goal. You remember? Like LaFleur loves to kick that field goal.
He'll be 17-0.
So it would be 17-0. But the Bengals have a chance when you look at the outlook of the first half of the season. Already at 3-1. Let's say they pull off the upset today and go 4-1. They got the Lions and Jets 2 of the next 3 weeks with the Ravens in between. All of a sudden, realistically, we're talking about an opportunity where it's like, okay, they could be 5-3 to start the first half of the season, and now they are in the conversation, and that's going to be interesting how all that pans out to see. But before any of that matters, it comes down to a situation where they got to take care of business at home. I'm getting a lot of reports from Cincinnati right now that it's flooding green in Cincinnati right now. That Packers fans have showed up and showed out.
Yeah, they said this. Let's take a trip to Cincinnati. We can drive there. There'd be plenty of tickets available. The Bengals won't buy tickets. We can buy them. So when the schedules came out, the Bengal fans bought those tickets. The Packer fans bought those tickets. It's going to be sold out stadium tonight.
I was about to say that, hey, what's interesting is who looks at Cincinnati as a destination city to go watch a football game? Well, people from Green Bay, Wisconsin. That's who. And that's why it's flooding green there.
We're going to host the whole weekend. Let's leave on Thursday night and get there Friday, Saturday, and Sunday.
Yeah, and right now, look.
Cheeseheads everywhere.
This isn't college football. You play who's in front of you. A win is a win. A win against the worst team in football is as big as the win against the best team in football because standings matter. This isn't there's not a playoff committee. This isn't an eye test. This isn't that. You win the games you're supposed to, you're in. It doesn't matter if I have the same doubts about the Bengals all season. If they beat the teams they're supposed to, it'll be about 8, 9, 10 wins. They'll be in that conversation.
I mean, look, the Browns wouldn't have made the playoffs if we was going by the eye test last year, but their record said they're getting in the playoffs. They got in and they won.
So Lamar Shelley, by the way, he says, I delivered all the Bud Light products to that location. Drink up, fellas, and watch my Bengals go 4-1. So there you go. Shout out to Lamar. Again, we're at Frickers on 741. But yeah, so big one today. Again, as I mentioned, Joe Burrow and the Bengals. It's a situation where right now they are finding themselves in that, okay, they've taken care of business 1 month in. A loss today doesn't end their season, but what it does is it, of course, it adds fuel to the doubters of spewing the typical you beat up on bad teams, can't beat good teams. But they go out today and they go punch for punch with Aaron Rodgers and the Green Bay Packers, who are one of the favorites to come out of the NFC to represent, in the Super Bowl. That right there shows you just that they're capable of being able to compete with some of the top teams in the NFL, something that they did not look like they could do a season ago. And then you look over on the other side, the other Ohio Pro team, of course, the Cleveland Browns. The Cleveland Browns are in a much different situation than the Cincinnati Bengals.
You called the Cleveland Brown fans the other Ohio team. That's usually the reference to the Bengals. Woo.
That's the nicest Bengals.
Brown fans they're going to take offense with that one. You're on your own. Justin Kinner said it.
Yeah, exactly. But so they, at this situation. Oh, you popped out of the video screen. There we go.
Am I back in?
Yeah, there you go. You're tagged back in. But the Cleveland Browns also have a big game. Now, they're in a much different situation than Cincinnati. Cincinnati's enjoying that fun year of, new players. It's the new toys. You go out there and lose, you're supposed to. If you go out there and win, you're shocking the world. Cleveland was that 2 years ago and that last year. If they lose last year, they're the Browns. That's what they do. But when they win, it was exciting. This year's different for Cleveland. They're not there where Cincinnati
is. Yeah, you're back to the Bernie Kosar years. You're expecting.
Yeah, so you're expecting. And I'm not saying it's not fun. It's fun. That's a good problem to have. But you don't get the benefit of the doubt anymore. Even when you win ugly, you got people questioning, that ain't going to cut it against X, Y, and Z. And the reason that is because they're expected to be like X, Y, and Z.
Yeah, but the Brown fans are like, we know how many more victories we had when we were losing. They didn't do us nothing. We take these moral losses.
There was W, L, and A. Win, loss, and almost won.
Yep.
Those were the categories for the Cleveland Browns for the longest time. But so Cleveland has the Chargers. Justin Herbert, one of the new.
That's going to be a good game.
He's one of the best new rookie quarterbacks, or not rookie. rookie, but one of the best young quarterbacks in the NFL. He's fun to watch. The Chargers are fun to watch, and this is a big one today. Which team? You have the Bengals trying to fight for that respect perception-wise, and you have the Browns who are trying to prove that, hey, all the expectations were warranted. They're living up to it. Which team needs a win more today here as we sit here in Week 5?
Wow. I'm going to say between the Bengals and the Browns, which team needs to win more?
Which team needs it? Just considering
the Bengals,
how big their opponents are and the perception of both. Right now.
Bengals, because you got Aaron Rodgers coming to town, and he's been throwing the ball since he got off the bus this morning. They got to send Aaron Rodgers home packing. You got to do what New Orleans did to him, make him, beatable. And, so if I'm the Cincinnati Bengals, it's not about Aaron Rodgers and the Green Bay Packers. It's about the Cincinnati Bengals coming to the jungle. It's about the Packers coming to the jungle and leaving here with the loss. And you got home field advantage. The fans are going to be fired up, especially early. They're feeling good. They've been riding high also for the last 10 days, and they've been going into their jobs. Yeah. About the Bengals. Yeah, we're in first place. They've been bragging too. Now they're going to be at that game on Sunday today, and I'm expecting a loud stadium early in the game, and give the fans something to continue to cheer about, not just early, but all game long. And Cincinnati Bengals, if you want to change the perception, this is a perception-changing game for you because you whip Aaron Rodgers at home. And especially, I don't care how long as they win by 1 point or 10 points, a win is a win is a win.
In the NFL, it's a win. All right, 518-1410, 518-1410. That's the number to call in and jump in on the conversation. Keith and I are live here at Frickers on 741 by the Dayton Mall. However, Shane Neal is back in the studio. Give him a call at 518-1410, 518-1410. He'll patch you through to us here. Bengals fans, Browns fans, I want to hear from you. Your thoughts on your games today. But which franchise do you think desperately needs a win today, considering how big the opponents are and how big these games are? So you said the Cincinnati Bengals, and I really agree with that. For one, if the Cleveland Browns lose a close one to the Chargers, that'll just be a matchup between two AFC favorites. It comes down to the end. Chargers come out on top. We didn't learn anything about the Browns as far as being fake or whatever. They're one of the top teams, just like the Chargers are. The Bengals on the other hand. And even if the Browns beat the Chargers, it's the same thing. It's Cleveland, you're top.
Because the Browns are thought up high. They're a playoff team. Chargers not a playoff team yet.
So
John Herbert, it's just a good story for a month. Are you
just like the Bengals are for a month, but you have to
for the first month of the season. Can you continue it?
So I do think that, Cleveland wins, they're supposed to. If Cleveland loses, that means the Chargers are for real, the Browns are for real. It was just a close one. Now, you can't get blown out. There's a lot of different circumstances that can change the perception of that. But you're right. Cincinnati, this game is bigger for them than it is the Browns today against the Chargers because of what it'll do for the trajectory of the Bengals moving forward from a momentum standpoint. You beat the Packers. Now you feel like, we can beat anybody. You've been getting beat up. They've won 6 games the last 2 years. They've been getting beat up constantly. Their O-line's been horrible. All of a sudden, overnight, they know how to block for Joe Burrow. It's unbelievable. So at the end of the day, it's a situation where the Bengals have more to gain with the win than the Browns have to gain with the win, and I think that's what makes it pretty simple. But Browns fans, let's hear from you. 518-1410. We'll be back in just a moment.
Excuse me. I know you have a 9 o'clock, so I'll keep this short. I'm the business suit in the back of your closet. You wore me nearly every day before your office went, quote, casual. I used to be the CEO of your closet. Now I'm just that one intern no one ever talks to. I always thought you'd circle back with me, get granular, keep me in the pipeline. But nada, nothing. Don't you remember the McKittrick presentation? You spilled coffee on me and I still looked amazing during the breakout talkback Q&A. So I think it's time for me to move on. I've got a great resume and I absolutely crush it in interviews, okay? Let's make this a clean break. Shift the paradigm. The only thing I ask is that you think outside the box here and do this. Take me to Goodwill, where I can really make a difference.
Your donations to Goodwill create new jobs, training programs, and education assistance for people in your community. To find your nearest donation center, go to goodwill.org. Donate stuff, create jobs. A message from Goodwill and the Ad Council.
So, what are you sipping?
Whether it's our freshly ground coffee to wake you up or an icy Polar Pop cup or froster to keep you going, our new Sip and Save drink subscription at Circle K will keep you refreshed every day. Join Circle K's Sip and Save and grab any size drink every day for just $5.99 a month. Yeah, start sipping and saving today. Just sign up with your mobile number when you check out at Circle K. Limited time offer at participating locations.
Attention men under the age of 35. You know what really impresses the ladies? When a guy has a few drinks and later gets pulled over for buzzed driving. That could cost you around $10,000 in fines, legal fees, and increased insurance rates. There goes let's grab dinner and a movie. Oh, I know. You drive more carefully when you're buzzed. You've proven that hundreds of times. A woman admires that kind of confidence. And you've practiced how to speak if a cop does pull you over. Slowly, clearly, and politely like, "Good evening, officer." A woman admires that kind of foresight. And what woman doesn't find it adorable that you call it buzzed even though the law calls it drunk? You can kiss $10,000 goodbye, along with any chance of having a girlfriend. Because nothing says, "I'm a catch," more than a guy who lives in his parents' basement and calls it my place.
Buzzed, busted, and broke. Because buzz driving is drunk driving. A message from the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
The Meyer Distribution Center in Tip City is hiring for warehouse positions in all units. Includes flexible schedules, best-in-class benefits, starting wages up to $18.60, and $2,000 sign-on bonus. Candidates can apply online at jobs.meyer.com. Keyword search distribution. Location Tip City. Or call 937-669-9109. 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. Monday through Friday. Walk-in interviews are available with on-the-spot job offers. Monday through Friday. 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. Call 937-669-9109. Meyer is an equal opportunity employer.
Well, Jason, I've got to tell you, you're pretty much everything this company is looking for in an entry-level candidate.
Great.
Your resume isn't quite what we're used to, but you've got a fantastic work ethic.
Thank you.
And I'm impressed by how you carry yourself.
So, should we talk about the job?
What? The job? Oh, sorry. Yeah, I have no way of recruiting or even meeting you. This interview didn't happen.
It may sound ridiculous, and that's because it kind of is. There's a huge pool of talent your company is missing out on. Meet the grads of life. Who are they? Talent worth knowing about. Young adults of unique determination and experience. An ideal fit for your company in an entry-level position, internship, or even mentorship. They might not have every qualification you typically look for, but they're exactly who your company needs.
Man, we really could have used him.
Don't miss out on a resource many innovative companies have already discovered. Go to gradsoflife.org to learn how to find, cultivate, and train this great pool of untapped talent. Brought to you by the Ad Council and gradsoflife.org.
You want more local content from Dayton's ESPN radio station 1410 Wing AM? Make sure you subscribe to the WING 1410 Dayton YouTube channel, where you can watch all your local shows live or go back and rewatch previous episodes of the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash, the Keith Byars Show, Talking Out Loud with Sully, and more. All sports, all the time. This is 1410 ESPN Radio.
Sometimes I get a good feeling.
All right, we welcome you back again as we reach the final portion of the show here again. Week 5 of the NFL season. A lot of big games coming up here. 1 o'clock kickoff. The Cincinnati Bengals, the Green Bay Packers. Apparently, Paul Brown is flooded with a lot of Green Bay Packer fans. So, well, you know what? Whatever they need to help them.
Ticket sales.
I think, look, they're a 3-point favorite. The fact that that line is as close as what it is just shows you that, hey, the Bengals, are given a favorable shot here. I think they're going to have a chance, especially at home. So I'd asked the question before to our listeners in regards to the Browns or the Bengals, which is this a bigger game for here today? They're not playing one another, but they both have 2 of the biggest games in the NFL Week 5. Which team needs a win more to help perception? Lamar Shelley says, I think that the Browns game is bigger, Keith, because we look at the Browns as playoff contenders. They need to prove that they can win big games versus big teams they may possibly face in the playoffs. Baker needs to prove he is capable as a quarterback to take that next step. All valid points. However, Cleveland has already proven that Cleveland won 13 games last year. Cleveland won a playoff game. Cleveland won a playoff game on the road at Pittsburgh. Baker was last year from week 8 until the tail end of the season. Only 2 quarterbacks had more passing yards and more touchdowns and a higher QBR than Baker Mayfield. That was Aaron Rodgers and Patrick Mahomes. I'd say being the third best number quarterback behind those two is pretty good. Now, that's back half of the season into the playoffs. That means last year means nothing. But I think he proved that. He proved that last year. But last year means nothing if you don't start getting some wins against quality teams. Now they're 3-1 to start too. They're not just beating opponents; they're dominating opponents defensively right now. That's the one thing that's different about this team than from a year ago is they're not now just relying on the run game and the offense to win you games. Now they're relying on the defense to win games. And once the Browns offense gets healthy again, Jedrick Willis is going to be out for the game today on the blind side, so he's not going to be there to protect Baker against that Chargers pass rush, which is going to be tough. But, you don't have Jarvis Landry. There's a lot of no excuses. The injury's been throwing off Baker Mayfield. It's really going to come down to the run game.
I had Jarvis in my fantasy, too.
Yeah, I know. And that guy doesn't miss. He doesn't miss games. He's going to miss quite a few. I just think that it's a situation where when you look at it big picture, the Cincinnati Bengals have more to prove on this game than the other way around. 518-1410. Let's go to the phones. We appreciate those who are calling in. We got Jack from Miamisburg. He wants to talk Bengals and Browns. Jack, how are you? Can you hear us?
Fantastic. I've been a Browns fan for 45, 50 years. But last year I told people I'm going to root for the Bengals 14 out of 16. Okay? Because Joe Burrows, now it's going to be 15 out of 17. Joe Burrows is the real deal. The only thing is it's hard to throw a pass when you're on on the grass. But
when you're behind is on the grass. There we go.
Do you read between the lines there, Josh or Justin?
I love rhyming words. Trust me. Grass rhymes with, fill in the blank. I got you, man.
Okay. But I think, I got to work. I sell houses. I got to work at an open house, but I'll be there in spirit. And it's kind of tough for me because Josh Myers is doing something that not too many rookies do: start and be effective.
Oh, and that Jack, what's disappointing? He's out today.
Oh, is he out today?
Yeah, Josh Myers, Buckeye, Miamisburg. He's been listed as out for today's game against the Bengals.
Oh, really? Well, that'll help. Yeah, it is. It is. Well, your show is very enlightening, and you get how bad is Landry's knee? That you don't get no message on that.
That's why they've put that blanketed week to week on there. And again, we're only privy to what they put out. We don't get to talk to doctors or anything. But I'll tell you, I'll take the week to week diagnosis as opposed to being out for the year. At least that gives us hope that he could be back in the future. The bottom line is the Browns are 3-1. And there's no panicking yet. And I think that as long as they're winning games, there's no need to rush him back. I'd rather them take their time with bringing him back as opposed to rushing him back and having him played injured, all while they're already winning games. I think that they need to be patient with him because he'll play a big role.
Take one game, or like your buddy there, Mr. Byars. You take one game at a time. Just win. If it's ugly, good.
His win is a win is a win.
Hey, thanks very much for allowing me to talk. And I am a diehard. I listen to you guys all the time because you get more information from your show than talking heads on the TV, if you know what I mean.
Absolutely.
Hey, Jack, thank you so much. We appreciate the call.
Bye now.
All right, 518-1410. I appreciate that. Yeah, Josh Myers, former Miamisburg Viking, of course, former Ohio State Buckeye, out today for the Packers against the Cincinnati Bengals. It's one thing you can come back to Ohio to play, but when you play, if they were playing at Cleveland in Ohio, it's like, oh, that stinks. You can't play, and you're returning to your home state to play. But Cincinnati, an hour from here, there was going to be a lot of Vikings showing up to support him. So that stinks that he's not going to play today, but really cool to see him not just be drafted, but to be a starter, to be effective one at that. He's been fantastic considering that they lost Lindsley to the Chargers.
That is. I mean, can you imagine? I played 13 years in the National Football League, and I only played in Cincinnati twice.
Really?
13 years. That's just like a scheduling quirk. I only played the Bengals twice in Cincinnati. Both times, God rest my mother's soul, she used to bring a spread of food down there on the night before the game. And it's like, whew, we didn't worry about pregame meal. Mama Byars is cooking today, boy. It's like, man, I know your mother could cook like that. How you think I got to be this size, man?
So how many people on your team? So your mom had to make team dinner for, I mean, my goodness.
Oh, man, she used to come in there and, we used to take one of the meeting rooms and, come on, coach, you smell that food over there. Finish this meeting that we got to eat. Like, okay, I'm coming. I'm getting me a plate too. So my mother used to love to do that, feed a football team. And she come down with some of her people from the church and some of her friends. And, oh, man, I'm talking about soul food like you've never had it before. I mean, fried chicken, macaroni and cheese, dessert, sweet potato pie. She made my caramel cake and all the fixings.
That's awesome.
And be right there and it's like, we got to play a game today tomorrow. It was like, Thanksgiving in October.
It's really cool.
It was just a great spread.
High school football, kids have their parents do team meals all the time. And then, you'll get that in college. But, like, that's cool here. Your mom making a team meal for the Philadelphia Eagles or the Patriots or who
the Eagles and the Dolphins.
When you played here? The Dolphins?
Yes. And when I was in high school, the first time I got my first time I ever met Billy Sims. Mm-hmm. He was with the Detroit Lions, and Larry Lee, who's from Dayton, was with the Detroit Lions, and they were playing the Bengals. And Larry came here to Dayton to his mom's house, in Westwood, and brought Billy Sims and a couple other, just about two other. There was four Lions, Detroit Lions, including Larry, at his mom's house, and he invited me over to the house to meet Billy Sims and the other couple of his Lion teammates. I was like, that's Billy Sims. Sitting there eating dinner at my buddy's house, it's like awesome.
That's pretty cool. It's
So that's great.
Sunday morning.
It's good to come home.
So Lamar Shelley, Keith, he says, this is not the Bengals' year. We're just happy to be in the conversation at this point, but we're looking for the coming years to be a contender.
What does he mean it's not their year?
I totally disagree. I disagree. Look, I don't know what.
When is the year?
The Cleveland Browns, based on the roster makeup and everything, like it is their year. Like they took those steps last year. But you had to throw out last year, because if the Browns are 0-4, last year doesn't mean anything. They're building on what they did last year, and there's evidence of that over the first month of the season. But for the Cincinnati Bengals, they've won 6 games in 2 years. They've just won 3 games in 1 month. That changes expectations. Like, I don't want to hear that, you're good enough to beat bad teams, but not good enough to beat good teams, and that means you're not to begin with. So that's the Bengal fan stuff that drives me nuts, Keith. I'm sure Lamar's a great dude. In fact, he's a loyal listener. I beat up on him all the time. He beats up on me. So I think we're okay. But that's that Bengals fan stuff that drives me nuts, where, when they win, it'll be their year. Watch. Lamar will be pumping his chest tomorrow, saying, it's our year, it's our year. But when they lose, that's the way of
we're building for the future.
Yeah.
No, go get it now.
Yeah, that's like Deontay Wilder. My warm-up jacket walking to the ring tired me out. That's why I lost. Well, what was your excuse last night? That's Bengals fans. Our warm-up jacket was too heavy walking to the ring. That's why we lost. But then when you win, it's, that jacket was just the right amount of weight. It was just like a little hug on the way down to the ring.
You're going to blame it on your robe.
Yes.
Speaking of real quick, I know we're talking football. We ain't that much time. But that boxing match last night, Tyson Fury and Deontay Wilder, not very good for me.
I loved it. Now, I didn't grow up watching boxing, so
I grew up. I'm
so
a boxing diehard, and that was not boxing. That was just two guys at a bar fight. There's no boxing skills at all. They just sitting there throwing punches at each other. I'll kick your tail. I'm like, you guys are terrible. I love the drama. I loved, it was, it was sellable.
Yeah, at least it went 11. What I can't stand, I mean, again, it leads for that exciting pop, but I hate when you have those huge builds for those fights, and then the knockout comes in the second round. It's like, wait, what? Like, do we get some of our money back if they don't get to, I paid for 11, 12 rounds. And
how do you think I felt? I was at the Mike Tyson, Carl the Truth Williams fight, 93 seconds. Ringside. I'm like, you better get up and fight, man. I got great seats. Get up, you ain't done. Get up.
Well, to be fair, we do that for Ohio State football. We pay full price for 4 quarters of football for games that are done by the end of the first. I'm just saying. So, all right, speaking of heavyweight fights, is this Bengals-Packers game, is this a heavyweight fight? Is this going to be like Wilder and Fury? Is this going to go the distance? Is this going to take full 4 quarters, full rounds to determine a winner? Or is this going to be like a Mike Tyson fight? Is Aaron Rodgers and the Packers going to knock the Bengals out early?
Ooh, no. Remember, 75% of the games with 7 points or less. This is going to be one of those 75%ers. It won't be a 25% game. It's going to be over at halftime. the Bengals are going to fight all the way through. We're going to be biting. How many nails? What your fingernails look like? You're going to be chewing on them in the fourth quarter. If you're a Bengal fan.
I'm worried my sides are going to hurt because I'm going to be laughing. Because the Green Bay Aaron Rodgers is a bad man, as Stephen A. Smith likes to say. Aaron Rodgers is going to dice up the Bengals defense. The Cincinnati Bengals will be put back in their place coming up here later on today at 1 o'clock. And if I am wrong, I will address that on tomorrow's show at 3 o'clock. The Justin Kinner Show, which starts at 3 with Kev Nash. And then, of course, the Keith Byars Show at noon to 1. You have Mo Douglas on with you tomorrow. You'll be previewing
Big Mo, we got some stories to tell.
Absolutely. I'm excited to hear that. So Keith Byars, Mo Douglas tomorrow. Of course, they'll talk NFL, they'll talk college, and, of course, they'll look ahead to next Friday night. In fact, we have Springfield at Miamisburg. That's our Glacier Softwater High School football game of the week. So that's pretty exciting. So there you go.
How about it? Miamisburg. I'm looking forward to going to Miamisburg. Never been
Lamar says, worry about your Browns, Cowboys fan. All right, Bengals fans. I don't want to hear no chirping today. Actually, I do want to hear chirping. I hear chirping when you win. I don't want to hear no ghost silence whenever the Packers have this thing wrapped up by halftime. This isn't the Jaguars. This isn't the Bears. This isn't the Vikings. This is a real team that you're facing today. So
let my Eagles get off the schneid today, please.
There
Eagles.
you go.
Help me out.
All right, folks, have a great day. Enjoy the football. We'll be back at it again tomorrow. The Keith Byars Show from noon to 1 tomorrow. Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash from 3 to 6. Until next week, it's been our Sunday Morning Tailgate Show live here from Frickers on 741 by the Dayton Mall on 1410 ESPN Radio.
Excuse me. I know you have a 9 o'clock, so I'll keep this short.